Cool green clothing coming straight up out of that DMV. You know what it is. This that Baltimore designer right here. Come on now, come and show some love and show some support. Go online right now, coolgreenclothing.com, and make your purchase. Oh yeah, by the way, if you ain't cool and getting the green, you're in the way, and that's just basic.
What's up, fam? It's your girl, Mrs. Tony Two Times, and I'm back with another video. In this episode of the Baltimore Way, I'll be talking about the case of an Army veteran who claimed self-defense after ending his mother's neighbor's life during a heated dispute. Before we get into this video, welcome if you're new here to our channel, and welcome back to all of our subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do and join the Two Times family. Go ahead and click that notification bell to get notified every time we upload. And if you're rocking with the content, don't forget to hit that like button. Be sure to share this video. Make sure you watch until the end to hear the full story. All right, let's jump right into it. 26-year-old Travis Ben Watkins lived in an upstairs apartment with his girlfriend on the 5000 block of Corley Road in Northwest Baltimore. He was a father to a son and daughter. Travis enjoyed football and spending time with his family. Travis worked a few different jobs to support his family. Travis and his girlfriend lived directly above a 66-year-old lady who I'll call Miss G for the purpose of this video. The neighbors were not on the best of terms, especially once Miss G started having certain issues like leaking trash on the balcony and the smell of Mary Jane. Miss G reportedly said she tried to talk to her upstairs neighbors about these issues, but Travis was not receptive to Miss G's grievances. Their neighborly relationship grew increasingly hostile, according to Miss G. Miss G's son came to visit her in September 2021 with his 2 kids and fiance. Miss G's son, 38-year-old Alejandro Gonzalez, was an Army veteran honored for service in combat while in Iraq. Before his medically required retirement, Alejandro reached the rank of Staff Sergeant. During his time in Iraq, Alejandro survived multiple IED explosions and the fatal explosion in Mosul. Alejandro and his fiancée were raising his 2 sons. After his military service, Alejandro reportedly started a small business teaching at-risk youth how to box. Earlier in 2021, Alejandro bought his family a house in Union City, Georgia, where they traveled from to Baltimore to visit his mother. The trip to Baltimore was a quick stop to pick up his mother before they headed to New York City to visit Alejandro's grandmother. But that trip to Baltimore took an unfortunate turn. When Alejandro arrived to his mother's apartment building, several feral cats were occupying the front patio. Miss G explained to her son that her upstairs neighbors stacked his trash on the balcony rather than bringing it to the dumpster. The trash would start leaking and it dripped down to the patio and attracted rodents, so she told her son she had begun feeding the cats to keep the mice away. Miss G told her son about the attempts to talk to her neighbors, but stated that Travis was allegedly disrespectful, and that's when their relationship grew hostile. Alejandro decided to confront Travis on behalf of his mother, but Travis allegedly began threatening Alejandro. It's not clear how Alejandro actually approached Travis, whether it was in a calm way or in a confrontational way. Alejandro's mother said Travis called Alejandro the B word during the heated exchange. According to Alejandro, after Travis began threatening him, Travis told him to stay there. "We're going to take care of this," and began to make a phone call. At that point, Alejandro said he immediately thought that Travis was allegedly calling for backup and assumed Travis was a part of a gang. Alejandro supposedly began to gather him and his family's belongings and loaded his family into the car. While he packed his things, Alejandro reportedly grabbed his mother's legally owned 9mm weapon on a bookshelf behind the front door as a precaution. As Alejandro tried to assist his mother, Travis allegedly came downstairs with a wooden chair, smashed it on the sidewalk, and began approaching Alejandro with one of the chair's broken legs, allegedly wielding it like a club. As Travis allegedly got closer to Alejandro, Alejandro fired his mother's weapon at Travis. Travis was struck multiple times. Alejandro fled the scene before police arrived because he said he feared other gang members would show up in retaliation. Medics and police arrived at the scene and rendered aid to Travis. He was transported to Sinai Hospital, but eventually he succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced gone at the hospital. Alejandro's mother went to Baltimore police to tell them what happened, while Alejandro reportedly drove all the way back to Georgia, dropped his family off at home, and drove himself to a VA hospital in DeKalb County for his PTSD and traumatic brain injury. He then called the Maryland State Police the next day to tell them where he was and to turn himself in. Alejandro was later extradited back to Maryland on September 28, 2021. Alejandro was charged with first-degree hit, among other weapons violations. He was held without bail. Alejandro's defense attorney claimed an act of self-defense, which could be difficult to prove in a Maryland court because of Maryland's duty to retreat law. Maryland is one of 15 states to have this law, which means that failing to retreat from a confrontation will in most cases remove someone's right to use fatal force for self-defense. Alejandro's defense attorney contended that Alejandro tried to retreat from the confrontation and only took his mother's weapon for defense and not to be the aggressor. His attorney said Alejandro believed Travis had a gun. However, according to BaltimoreWitness.org, prosecutors said this was not a case of self-defense because Alejandro's mother claimed that her son initiated the argument and took her weapon knowing where it was. In addition, the prosecutor noted that Travis was hit 6 times with 4 entry wounds to the back. Alejandro's defense stuck with the self-defense claim. Alejandro was offered a couple plea deals but rejected them in the beginning. One plea deal would have resulted in a total of 70 years plus probation for first-degree hit and the firearms violation, and another plea offer was for 50 years. After Alejandro rejected the prior plea offers and still remained held without bail, prosecutors filed a noli pros, which is a formal notice of abandonment by a plaintiff or prosecutor of all or part of a suit or action. It was filed in November 2022 due to the key witness not being found. Months later, on July 25, 2023, Alejandro accepted a plea of 10 years, suspending all but 2 years, with 3 years of supervised probation for first-degree hit in connection to Travis's slaying. He's also required to have no contact with Travis's family. Fam, this is a wild story. May Travis Ben Watkins continue to rest in peace. My condolences to his family and loved ones. Travis may not have been perfect, but he was still a father, son, brother, etc., and was loved by his family. It's hard for me to draw a conclusion to this story. I'm having a hard time grasping the self-defense claim since Alejandro did initiate the confrontation, according to his mother. How do we know that Travis wasn't trying to defend himself? Travis was wrong for being disrespectful if that was the case, but if Alejandro really feared Travis, why confront him in the first place? Why not just cut the trip short first, pack your family up, including your mother, and head to New York or back to Georgia? Maybe he and his mother could have came up with how to further handle the situation without it having to escalate. And to be fair, I wouldn't want to live in uncomfortable circumstances, so I get why Miss G would have her grievances. But not everyone is willing to comply, and unfortunately, things escalated to violence when her son got involved. I get he's a decorated soldier and he suffered from PTSD, but you have to be aware of the environment that you are in and whether or not it could trigger you. I believe this man, Alejandro, was trying to defend his mother's honor more than anything. And I get that's his mom's, and many people don't play when it comes to disrespecting their mother. It seems to have turned into a self-defense situation after Alejandro confronted Travis. And to label him a gang member after this interaction seems like kind of a reach. This is just my opinion, not facts, so I can be wrong. I'm not choosing sides, just making an observation. It's an unfortunate situation all around the board, and this is why it's so important to try and overcome your anger. Fam, tell me your thoughts on this in the comments below. Alright fam, that's it for this episode of the Baltimore Way. Thank you so much for watching and making it to the end. If you've made it to the end, comment Baltimore Way down below. Let us know you made it this far. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is your girl, Mrs. Tony 2 Times, and I'm out.